Do you guys get tired of the comparison? It's constant. You know, LeBron to MJ, or do you welcome it?
MJ and LeBron are very different basketball players. They're different people. So I would say that LeBron would never, ever get tired of the comparisons because that's what he worked his whole life for, to be compared to the greatest to ever do it. So he would never get tired of that. That's actually an honor. That's actually to be compared to Michael Jordan is an honor. The guy that was always his idol and who he always his muse and who he always looked to for inspiration. To be compared to that guy now is what he wanted his whole life.
Shannon, is LeBron passing Jordan for the most playoff points a big deal or no big deal?
It would absolutely mean a big deal because, first of all, in order for you to get this record, that means you've been in the playoffs an awful lot of times and you've had success while being in the playoffs. Anytime you can pass Michael Jordan on any list, that's always a good thing. Now, Skip, we knew this to be the case a long, long time ago. He had 23 for a reason. He could have chose a lot of other numbers, but he chose 23. And by choosing that, we had a good inclination that Michael Jordan was his idol, was his hero, and that was who he aspired to be, and eventually, hopefully, one day he would become better. And then when he penned that letter last year, says, after winning that championship for Cleveland last year, I'm chasing the ghost. And I think everybody knows who that ghost is. He resides in Chicago. And so once he said that, all he did was state the obvious. And I think we thought for a very long period of time that he was chasing Michael Jordan. Whether or not he can catch him, that remains to be seen. But Skip, this is an absolute big, big, huge honor because think about all the greats that played in the playoffs. Now, I get it. You know, everybody, Jordan played fewer games and it took LeBron this. That's beside
Who
it.
says that?
Skip Bayless.
I'm hearing anybody say that.
You Skip Bayless.
Oh, you're putting words in my mouth before I get to speak on the show. Wow,
Skip,
that's interesting.
I know you. Next to Ernestine, I probably know you better than anybody because I know you.
I might give you that.
It's a huge honor, Skip, to pass Michael Jordan because we know what he represents in the playoffs. And he scored a number of points, and he scored them in a lot of different ways. But for LeBron James to be 28 points behind him, and here he is in year 14. Michael played 16 years. He's going to put this record way, way out there, and somebody's going to have to play a lot of playoff games and a lot of years for them to catch it. So this is a huge, huge deal for LeBron to be 28 behind, and I believe he passes tonight in Boston.
I will give you that this has some honor to it because it has longevity and durability attached to it. And I'm going to say this again. LeBron, and I got to knock on wood when I say this, knock on wood, he is the most durable superstar I can ever remember. And I know we can't do sport to sport because obviously your sport was a little more dangerous and injurious than their sport.
Yes.
But still, let's just keep it in the confines of pro basketball. Has anybody been more durable? Maybe Kareem was.
Well, AC Green was more durable, but he wasn't the type. He wasn't the type player LeBron. But Karl Malone, his first probably 15, 16 years, he didn't get injured.
He was, but LeBron is high contact.
Yes.
He plays a little NFL freight train into the basket.
Yes.
And it just amazes me. I'm knocking on wood one more time because he just keeps avoiding injuries that others can't avoid.
Right.
Kawhi gone for the play. We can just keep going. Everybody's had some issue somewhere.
KD has missed season, and Russell has missed.
Steph was
banged
up his knee last year, and he just wasn't right for the rest of the playoffs. I'm sure LeBron has been banged up. He's had this and that, and probably we don't know all the things that he's had to fight through. So I'm going to give you the durability and the longevity that is required to do what he's going to do. And I'm going to give you this. He is going to eclipse Michael in just overall accumulation of statistics because it's just hard to stop this freight train. It just keeps on training, right?
Right.
And so he's going to eventually score more points, he's going to have more rebounds, and he's obviously going to have way more assists because he's the best passer in basketball than Michael Jordan. But again, just to frame this, because you kind of swept this under your carpet a little bit, which is fine, but LeBron James has now played 211 playoff games. Michael Jordan only played 179. LeBron just finished his 14th NBA season. So he's played 32 more playoff games has LeBron James through year 14 than Michael played in his whole 16-year career. So Michael averaged in the playoffs 33.4. LeBron is averaging 28.2. So you can see what's happened. LeBron, with his plus 32 games, over that 32-game span, averaging 28.2, that's 902 extra points that LeBron got to score that Michael didn't get to score because he just didn't play that many playoff games. So,
Is that
back
LeBron's
to,
fault?
okay, back to our point of contention. I believe that LeBron has consistently been able to take advantage of a consistently weaker Eastern Conference than Michael Jordan had to face through his time in Chicago, especially. And I point out the fact that in the heart of his prime, at age 30, Michael Jordan was forced to take one whole year off. So that cost him another playoff
He
run.
wasn't forced, Skip. He did that voluntarily.
He was forced, but we don't need to go there.
Okay.
But I know he was forced, but I'm going to leave it at that. But the point is, he lost a whole year, heart of his prime.
Yep.
And then at age 35, 36, and 37, he said, heck with you, Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf, I'm out. If my coach is out, I'm out. So after he won his sixth championship, 1998, I was there in Chicago, Michael just said, I'm done with this. And it was a little bit out of protest that he was done with this because he didn't like the direction his team, run by Jerry Krause and owner Jerry Reinsdorf, was going. Because they wanted to fire Phil and hire Tim Floyd. You know, they wanted to go in a whole new direction. And Michael said, heck with you, except he said it in harsher terms than that. And he left. And he didn't play at 35, 36, and 37 when he could have piled up a few more playoff stats, especially if they'd been able to keep the dynasty rolling in Chicago, right?
Yes.
So then he came back and played 2 years at Washington, and he averaged 23 during the regular season and then 20 in that last year. He didn't look like he was in the best of shape to me, so he sort of just, I don't know. It was a little hard to watch, but he did fine. I don't think he embarrassed himself, but I don't think that he helped himself much in those last 2 years. So just to frame what's going to happen here, LeBron's playing at a high level. In year 14, LeBron James led the NBA in minutes played. Think about that. In year 14, he led the league. I don't know why he did it, but God bless him. He did it. I'm going to knock on wood one more time. He got away with it.
Yeah, he led the league. He led in year 14 at the age of 32. He led the league in playoff minutes. And then what did
in regular season.
In regular season minutes. He's going to probably end up leading in playoff minutes also when it's said and done. But here's the thing, though, Skip. But the old timers say, why does he need rest? We played all the time. Nobody played this many minutes at this age more than LeBron.
Nope,
so
I agree.
If he takes time off, so be it. But Skip, you mentioned okay, he's accumulated. LeBron is going into his 211th. Michael Jordan played 179.
Yep.
He could have played more playoff games had he not gotten swept in those first rounds. Am I correct? So if he wins round
again, you're up against some firepower now. You're up against some much better teams than LeBron has faced. Unless you want to throw in the Spurs back in 07. Was that?
I'm just asking you a question, Skip. Was the Milwaukee Bucks, were they a dominant team?
I know, but we got to get back to the bad boy Pistons and Magic Lakers and the Word Celtics. And obviously, LeBron hasn't had to face that in the Eastern Conference.
He didn't have to deal with the bad boy Pistons until late after he got Scottie Pippen, and they still couldn't get past him. So if he had
to deal with them in their primes, and that's when you say he was getting swept.
Whoa. You mean to tell me Jesus with sneakers couldn't beat the bad boy Pistons?
You mean to tell me the King of Akron couldn't at least win one game off my Spurs in 07, the team that you find more boring than broccoli, the Manu Ginobili you say is overrated, the Tony Parker you say is overrated, the Tim Duncan who bores you to tears? You couldn't win one game off those guys? Really?
3 Hall of Famers in their apex.
Yeah, but you don't like it. You think they're all overrated.
No, Tim Duncan's not overrated.